Hi, I'm David Berman, and today I'm demonstrating for you how to set alt text for images in your Office files. I'll describe as I go so you can learn what you need just by listening or reading the captions. I'm showing a sample file that's not yet accessible in the latest version of Word 365 for Windows. However, the technique works equally well in Word 365 for Mac OS, and similarly in PowerPoint and Excel and Outlook, as well as earlier versions of Windows, though the names of the commands differ a little. Now, having a file that has alt text set for every image is necessary for your document to conform to accessibility standards such as WCAG 2.0 or 2.1. And specifically, what we're doing here is we're satisfying success criterion 1.1.1 called non-text content. So let's see how to get it done. So in the document I'm showing you, this document begins with an image, and it's a logo for the town of Trillium. And so we want to make sure that alt text exists so that people using alternative text, such as screen readers, are announced what that image is. Search engines also take advantage of this extra information. So in order to set the alt text, I navigate to the image and I can right click on the image, or I can select Shift F10 on my keyboard, which brings up the right click menu. And then I select the command called View Alt Text. And when I select that command, up comes an additional pane in the word interface, the alt text pane. And in the alt text pane, there's a large field where one can type. Now, in this particular image, the alt text already is set to a blue leaf with a white background, description automatically generated with low confidence. So when we see that sentence, description automatically generated with low confidence, this is an indication to us that Microsoft's AI engine has actually proposed some alt text for this image because it didn't have any. And although that sounds really handy, and perhaps in the years to come, the engine will be smart enough to give us alt text that's truly useful, I've looked at hundreds and hundreds of images where alt text has been automatically generated. Unfortunately, I've yet to see one that didn't need a human to come along and correct it. Whether it's inaccurate or just downright dangerous to have images generated by the AI, we're going to replace that. And in fact, I want you to turn off the feature in Office that tells the AI to try to do this. So how do we do that? Well, I'm choosing the file menu, and I need to find the options. And the options are part of the More group. If my window was larger, we would have options appearing already. I'm selecting More, and that takes me to the hidden options, and here is the option I'm looking for called Options. So once I select Options, I'm now in all of the settings for my Word, and it would be the same in PowerPoint or Excel. And within Word Options window, I'm now finding the Accessibility subsection of Word Options. And within Accessibility, there's an option, a checkbox here titled Automatically Generate Alt Text for Me. And we want to uncheck that checkbox because that's not helpful for us yet. So I'm unchecking the checkbox, and now I'm selecting OK. And now my Word won't be generating now alt text. Now, if I get a Word file from someone else who had this on, I still may have alt text in my document that is inappropriate, that was generated by the AI. So first thing we're going to do here then is we're going to delete all of the text that's in the alt text window. And I'm doing that now. And you'll even notice once I delete it, there is an additional button that is now available called Generate Alt Text for Me. So if you really did, even if you turn off that feature, you could, anytime you wish, you're working on the alt text of a text, you could you could, alt text for an image, you could select this button. Let's try it now. So I'm now selecting the generate alt text for me button. The AI has come up with a blue leaf with a white background description automatically generated with low confidence. So maybe that would help me compose this faster. I could use it as a starting point. So I'm going to remove the portion that said description automatically generated with low confidence. And now I've got a blue leaf with a white background. However, even that really isn't useful for this situation, because what the purpose of this image being here is to present the branding of the town of Trillium. And so we could argue that this image just represents the concept town of Trillium. And so I'm typing town of Trillium, and that would be a good answer. And there's lots of good answers, just like any editorial portion of a document. Alt text needs the same editorial rigor as any other part of your document. You're going to make sure it's written well. And so there's many right answers here. So town of Trillium would be a good answer. Now, usually when we have alt text, though, we want to identify what type of image it is. And so this could be logo of town of Trillium. Logo of town of Trillium. We could also, so imagine it was a photograph. We'd say photo of a dog, or it could be illustration of a dog, or it could be a diagram of the internal organs of a dog. We want to identify what type of image it is. What we don't ever want to do is write image of dog or graphic of dog. And the reason for that is when screen readers announce alt text, they will, as soon as they find an image, they will say image, or some screen readers will say graphic. So the screen reader would then say image, image of dog. And so it's redundant and it doesn't give additional information. So instead we want image, photo of dog. So image tells the non-visual user that there's an image there. And then the alt text explains to them what kind of image it is. So in this case, we'd have image, logo of town of Trillium. Now in this case, the phrase town of Trillium doesn't even appear in the document. So you could argue that this actually has the purpose of actually saying town of Trillium. So it would be equally okay here to just have the alt text as town of Trillium. And what I do, if I have the editorial power to change changes to the document, I think I'd actually say, the fact that the organization that is responsible for this document doesn't actually have its author on it, because it's assuming everyone can see the logo town of Trillium, makes me think even better, we would put town of Trillium, that phrase, directly into the document if we have the authority to change the document. So now I've just typed town of Trillium right under the main heading. And now I feel very good then about making the alt text here logo of town of Trillium, because the document, the author is now there. So there we are. So that's how we would add alt text to an image. Now, there's two kinds of images though. There are informational images. In this case, this had the important information that we have the branding of the town of Trillium here. But also in a document, I'm scrolling down and finding what we'd call a decorative image. And so there's this swath of color here that is definitely here just to provide entertainment to sighted users. And so this alt text also needs an alt text. All images must have some sort of alt text. Now that alt text can either be a description of the item, or we have the option in Office 365 to select this checkbox, the mark as decorative checkbox. And in this case, I'd say this is a decorative image. So rather than describing it as pink handmade Lokta paper, which isn't important to someone who can't see the document, I can select the mark as decorative checkbox. And when I do that, the main area for writing the alt text is grayed out, and I can no longer edit it. And we've indicated that the image is decorative. And so a screen reader, for example, is going to simply not announce it to someone who's in view mode. It's going to just skip over it as if it is not there, which is appropriate. Now, if we really thought it was important to tell people what that is, then we would write alt text in the typical way. But in this case, I'm definitely going to decide to mark as decorative. So now we have seen how we mark an informational image with appropriate alt text. We've also seen how to mark a decorative image as decorative. And now you know how to set alt text on every image in your document. If you have questions, do post them to us or contact us at wcag2.com. That's WCAG digit2.com. See you next time.